muffins!
Nobody expected the Golden Globes to become the night everything quietly fell apart. It was supposed to be a celebration, a glamorous evening where stars arrived smiling, posed effortlessly for flashing cameras, exchanged polite laughter, and left wrapped in applause rather than controversy. Award season thrives on illusion. Perfect lighting, perfect outfits, and the idea that everyone has it together, at least for one night. But for Teyana Taylor and Aaron Pierre, the Golden Globes didn't just turn heads. It subtly rewrote the entire story of their relationship. On the surface, what fans witnessed felt confusing at first, even intriguing. There were no dramatic confrontations, no viral clips of chaos. Yet behind the scenes, according to insiders, something shifted in a way that couldn't be undone. What followed wasn't loud or explosive. It was quiet, decisive, and final, ending with Aaron walking away and Teyana left facing emotional fallout that no red carpet could disguise. For a while, their relationship felt like a fresh chapter. After everything Teyana had been through, publicly, fans wanted to see her happy. They talked about how calm Aaron seemed, how grounded his presence was, and how different this connection felt compared to her past. There was no constant posting, no loud declarations of love, no oversharing designed for engagement. Instead, there were subtle appearances, controlled moments, and a quiet chemistry that felt intentional. It looked mature. It felt protected. Like two people choosing privacy over performance in a world that rewards spectacle. That's exactly why the breakup hit so hard, because no one saw it coming. Leading up to the Golden Globes, there was already pressure beneath the surface. This wasn't just another date night or casual industry event. This was a global stage packed with influence, judgment, and cameras that never stop watching. According to people close to the situation, Aaron had always been deeply private. He valued control over his image, his emotions, and how much of his personal life became public property. He understood how quickly a single moment could be misread, reframed, and turned into a headline within seconds. Teyana, on the other hand, had always lived comfortably in the spotlight. She knew how to command attention without trying, how to move freely, express herself boldly, and exist unapologetically in spaces designed to observe and critique. At first, that difference felt exciting, balanced, even. But over time, it may have quietly become a fault line. The night itself carried electric energy. Camera flashes bounced off crystal chandeliers. Reporters shouted names. Stylists made last-minute adjustments while security rushed people through carefully controlled paths. Everything moved fast. Teyana arrived confident, radiant, and fully herself. She carried the room the way she always had, naturally, effortlessly. But somewhere during the evening, something shifted. According to multiple insiders and waves of online speculation, there was a moment, brief but noticeable, where Teyana's behavior drew unexpected attention. No one claims it was scandalous. There were no accusations, no explosive scenes. But whether it was who she interacted with, how she interacted, or the energy she carried, people noticed, not because it crossed a public line, but because it quietly crossed a private one. From the outside, it looked harmless. To insiders, it felt personal. Sources suggest Aaron wasn't reacting out of jealousy. He was reacting out of exposure. There's a difference between being seen and being put on display. And according to those close to him, that line may have been crossed. Aaron didn't confront her publicly. He didn't create a scene or demand explanations under flashing lights. Instead, he shut down. And when someone like Aaron shuts down, it usually means the decision has already been made internally. Once the event ended and the cameras stopped rolling, the tension didn't disappear. It followed them home. Conversations reportedly grew shorter, messages became colder. The warmth that once defined their connection slowly evaporated. People close to Teyana noticed her mood shift almost immediately. She went from glowing to guarded, from playful to defensive. That kind of emotional pivot rarely happens without a deeper cause. Rumors of a breakup didn't arrive loudly. They crept in through absence. No public appearances together. No subtle acknowledgements. No effort to shut down speculation. Then came the quiet confirmation, not through a statement, but through distance. According to insiders, Aaron made the decision to end things shortly after the Golden Globes. Not impulsively, not angrily, but firmly. He allegedly felt that if boundaries could blur so easily in such a public setting, And the relationship wasn't aligned with the life he wanted long-term. For Teyana, the ending reportedly felt sudden. Even though the signs were there, she may not have believed it was final. Sources suggest she felt misunderstood, even unfairly judged. From her perspective, she was simply being herself, expressive, confident, and unapologetic. What she didn't expect was that being herself could cost her the relationship she was trying to protect. Social media quickly picked up on the shift. Fans began dissecting every post, every caption, every silence. Some accused Teyana of self-sabotage. Others defended her fiercely, arguing that no one should have to dim themselves to make a partner comfortable. The internet split into sides, turning a private emotional situation into a public debate about boundaries, freedom, and respect. Aaron's response, or lack of one, only intensified the reaction. He didn't explain. He didn't defend himself. He simply went quiet. To some fans, the silence felt cold. To others, it felt disciplined. A man choosing peace over chaos. But for Teyana, according to those close to her, the silence hurt more than any argument ever could. There was no closure, no acknowledgement, just an ending that arrived without warning and without words. What made the situation even heavier was how old wounds resurfaced. This wasn't just another breakup. It reopened emotions tied to her divorce, reminding her how vulnerable starting over can be. People often underestimate how hard it is to trust again after public heartbreak. Teyana had taken a risk. She'd allowed herself to believe in something quieter, something safer. And when it ended so abruptly, it felt personal, even if it wasn't meant to be. Fans also began questioning whether the Golden Globes moment was truly the cause, or simply the final straw. Relationships rarely end because of one night. They end because of patterns, differences, and expectations left unspoken. The event may have simply exposed what was already there. Two people with very different comfort levels around visibility, attention, and control. As days passed, fans noticed a shift in Teyana's online energy. Subtle at first, but impossible to ignore. She wasn't as carefree. Her posts felt heavier. Some were reflective, almost like quiet conversations with herself, unfolding in public. Others carried a sharper edge, defiant, controlled, and grounded. A reminder that she was still standing, even while processing something deeply painful. It wasn't a breakdown. It was something more layered. A woman trying to hold her ground while sorting through disappointment, confusion, and unresolved emotion. That mix of vulnerability and strength is what pulled people in. It didn't feel performative. It felt human. Meanwhile, Aaron's silence told an entirely different story. No cryptic posts, no hints, no explanations. He stayed focused on work, appearances, and commitments, moving like someone determined not to fuel the fire. That absence only amplified the tension. Because when one person processes visibly and the other disappears, curiosity doesn't fade, it multiplies. Fans filled the silence with theories. Imagine conversations and assumptions, trying to piece together what wasn't being said. The IC becomes contrast became the story itself. Teyana's emotional evolution versus Aaron's quiet withdrawal. Some interpreted his silence as respect. Others saw it as avoidance. Some believed he was protecting them both. Others felt he was letting her carry the emotional weight alone. And that uncertainty kept the narrative alive. What made this moment feel different from typical celebrity drama was the lack of closure. No statements, no timelines, no definitive ending, just two people moving in opposite emotional directions under relentless public scrutiny. Teyana wasn't asking for sympathy, but she wasn't hiding either. Aaron wasn't defending himself, but he wasn't engaging. And in that imbalance, the internet did what it always does: watched closely, speculated loudly, and waited for the next crack to appear. What shocked fans most wasn't just that Aaron ended the relationship. It was how fast everything unraveled. One night of glamour turned into weeks of speculation and emotional fallout. The Golden Globes, once a symbol of celebration, became a reminder of how fragile relationships can be under bright lights. In the end, this story isn't about blame. It's about incompatibility exposed under pressure. About how love can exist and still fail when values don't align. Teyana didn't lose herself. Aaron didn't betray her. They simply collided at a moment where neither could bend without breaking, and maybe that's the real shock, not what happened at the Golden Globes, but how one night revealed truths that have been quietly waiting to surface all along.